So friends, let's see this delicious and healthy recipe of Geudachi bhaji. Now I'm going to show you how to clean it. So you have to take off the tips as I'll show you, and you will see this string kind of thing coming off. So do that at both ends. So don't wash the Geuda first. First we're going to clean it. Now just pop it open like this, like you would with a green pea or matar. Check the beans inside. If they are soft or if they look rotten, then just get rid of them, and then just tear the with your fingers, just tear the gouda into these small pieces like this. Now you may encounter strings more than once, so that's why it's preferable to do it by hand rather than using the knife. So do get rid of the strings, do otherwise when you're eating the vegetable, it will really create havoc. So check for the inside that the beans are good inside. And yes, friends, you do encounter a little bit of, you know, vegetable worms inside. So get rid of those also. I'll show you after, when I finish cleaning, I'll just show you what you should not be using and what you should get rid of. So then with your hands, just stir it, because every time, you might get the string or you might not get the string. So this is a real healthy vegetable, and which you can include in your diet. It has many health benefits, like all green veggies do. So, while I was cleaning, the ones over here luckily were all very good, but I just had about two or three which had a little bit of, rotten beans inside. Some of them did have vegetable worms, about just one or two. So I had to throw those out, but I will show you what you should get rid of. So now I'll show you what, this is the end result. I've just cleaned it up. So now if you find something looking like this, which is rotten, which has a grayish or a brownish effect inside, but the beans are very soft and mushy, or they look, really old and dried up like this, or they have like a very soft, grayish texture, then get rid of that. Luckily, I had a good the whole thing was nice, just a few of them. Now I've taken some water in a large bowl. I've added a little bit of salt to it, and I'm just going to add this vegetable to it, and I'm going to soak it for about 15 minutes. That's very, very important that you clean your veggies very, very well. Now, some vegetables you have to clean, soak them first and then clean them, and some you have to clean first and then soak them. So it all depends. But I have explained in all of my videos as to, what is the process. So let it soak for about 15 minutes in this water to which salt has been added. And then I'm going to just take a colander, which I've placed on top of a vessel. And I'm just going to drain all of this, or just lift it up like that and put it over there. And again, I'm going to run it through some running water, that is through the colander itself, through my running water in my wash basin of my kitchen, or my kitchen sink rather. Again, I'm going to rinse it really, really well. So this is how you prep your geuda, and the recipe is very simple. So once you have finished prepping, you can always do this a day ahead also. So now I've just heated up a pan on a low flame. To that I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon of oil. Now once the oil is nice and hot, we're going to add our other ingredients, our 40 or tadka ingredients, which is half a teaspoon of mustard seeds or mohri or rye. Let them splutter well. When they begin to splutter, you're going to add half a teaspoon of cumin seeds or jeera. Next, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of asafoetida or hinga and half a teaspoon of turmeric or haldi powder. So for those of you watching most of my recipes, you know that the simple vegetables, especially the Maharashtrian way of making it, just requires these few ingredients for the fodni. So now mix everything really well in the oil, and you're going to add your cleaned up geuda to it, or flat beans, and you're going to mix everything really, really well together. So So mix everything well so that the vegetable nicely get coated with the fotni or the bagar. Now this vegetable can be had with some puris or chapatis or some dal, rice. I mean anything. It's just a an accompaniment to any nice meal. And now what we're going to do is we're going to cover it with a lid and we're going to put a little bit of water to the lid. Now if you're using a leather, the glass lids with the handle that we generally have at home, you can just cover it with a lid. You don't need to add any water initially. Now every 3 minutes, just stir it in between. Carefully lift the lid. Just stir it in between every 3 minutes and add a little bit of the water because the water has now become hot. So you can add a little bit of the water so it helps the vegetable to cook. So if you're using a cover with a lid, a glass cover with a handle, just add a little bit of warm water or just sprinkle a little bit of warm water on top so that helps the vegetable cook. So just do this for about 8 to 10 minutes till the gouda is nice and cooked. It takes about 8 to 10 minutes on a low flame. Never cook on a high or flame, always cook on a low flame so the vegetable gets nicely cooked. Now you can see that the gouda is nicely cooked. It becomes a darker green color when it's cooked. So now we're going to add all the lovely seasonings. So I'm going to start by adding salt to taste. Now always add a little salt initially, otherwise then you can always add the salt later after you've tasted it. Never add too much salt because very salty food is not good for health and nobody likes to eat extra salty food. Now I'm just going to add half a teaspoon of red chili powder. Then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of goda masala or kala masala. I have my homemade goda masala recipe. I'll leave it in the link below. If I forget to do so, just type goda masala Akshata's recipes in the YouTube search button and you will find it. That's the easiest way to find my recipes. Just type the recipe. Like you're looking for upma, just say upma Akshata's recipes and mine will pop up. So now I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of ghee or jaggery. If you're not used to using ghee or jaggery, you can even add a pinch of sugar. A little sweetness, elevates the flavor of this dish. And we're just going to cook everything for another 2 minutes till everything really comes together nicely. Now you could add some grated coconut also for garnish, but I didn't want to add it. I just like to have it plain like this. And your gevra bhaji is all ready, guys. So I hope you will try out this recipe and do leave your comments in the comment section below. I'll catch you in my next video. Take care. So friends, let's start with today's very simple dal fry recipe, which is super delicious. Now all the ingredients will be given with here. I've heated about 1.5 tablespoon of oil in my pan on a low to medium heat. Now I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of mustard seeds and let them pop. Next goes in half a teaspoon of cumin seeds or jeera, half a teaspoon of hing or asafoetida, half a teaspoon of turmeric or haldi powder, and give all of this a mix. Next goes in 1 light green chili chopped fine. Let the chili fry well in the oil and flavor the oil. Then I'm going to add some fresh curry leaves, some ginger garlic paste, about half an inch of ginger and about 5 cloves of garlic. Let everything fry well. Then I'm going to add 1 medium-sized onion. Now I'm also going to leave instructions on how to prepare the dal for this recipe, that is how to cook your dal. So that will also be mentioned in the description box below. The description box is just below the video. There will be a button called show more. Just click on that and you'll see the whole recipe with how to get your dal cooked also. Let everything fry very well. That's very important for this dal fry recipe. Now I'm going to add 1 small tomato chopped fine. Fry all of it well. This is very important that everything gets fried well. Now I'm going to just cover and cook it for about 2 or 3 minutes till everything blends well together and everything, the tomatoes get nice and soft and mushy and cooked. Then after 2 to 3 minutes, I'm just going to check on the tomatoes and the onions. You can see that they're all nice and fried. Now I'm just going to add a teaspoon of Kashmiri red chili powder. This just adds a beautiful color to the dal fry. It's not very, this Kashmiri chili powder doesn't add any spiciness to the dish. It just adds beautiful color. Now I'm just going to pour about 1/4 cup of water and cover and cook this for about a minute or so. Now you can see that everything has blended in well and also the tomatoes have nicely cooked. Now I'm going to add the water of the dal as well as the dal. Now this is just 1 cup of tur dal that I washed well under water thrice, soaked for about 5 to 10 minutes. And then I added about 2 cups of water and I put it into my pressure cooker and I cooked it for 1 whistle on high and I simmered it for about 10 to 15 minutes. Let the cooker cool completely. Take out the dal and with your whisk or or a wooden whisk or a steel whisk, just whisk the dal well. And that's how you prepare your tur dal. Now you can also use the orange color masoor dal. That's also fine with this recipe. Now I'm just adding some salt to taste. Now masoor dal cooks much faster than tur dal. And I've also added a pinch of sugar. So you might have to cook your masoor dal for just 1 whistle on high and about 5 minutes on simmer. And now I'm going to cover and cook this for about 2 to 3 minutes. I'm going to garnish this with some freshly chopped coriander. Now always soak your coriander in some water with salt has been added for about 5 to 10 minutes and then rinse it and then chop it up. Now I'm going to give a tadka or a fortni to my dal fry. So I've heated about 1 tablespoon of ghee. You can also use oil for the tadka. But this ghee or clarified butter adds a very lovely flavor to the dal. Now I've chopped up about 7 garlic cloves very, very fine. This just adds a lovely flavor to this dal fry, so try it out. Now my ghee has melted and it's pretty hot. So I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of cumin or jeera seeds, half a teaspoon of hing or asafoetida, and I'm going to add this very finely chopped garlic. You have to literally slice the garlic into very thin slices. Now we're going to fry the garlic till it turns to a lovely golden brown, crispy. The color has to be golden brown and a nice crispy texture. So fry it well. Now this dal fry goes really well with some lovely hot rice, or you can even have it with some chapatis or puris. And the dal fry lasts for about 2 to 3 days, and in fact it tastes much better on the 2nd or 3rd day. As it thickens up, you just have to warm it up and have it, and it has a really lovely flavor. So like you can see, I'm frying the garlic till it turns crispy and golden brown. And once that is done, I'm going to switch off the flame of my dal fry, and you can see how beautiful the garlic has become. I'm just going to pour the entire thing into my dal fry. So do try this out. I'm sure many of you must have not done this before, but believe me and trust me, this will really elevate the flavor of your dal fry, and you're going to love it. So that's it, friends. The dal fry is lovely. You have this beautiful tadka on the top, and it's just amazing. So friends, let's start with today's croquets recipe. Now here I have about 18 peppercorns, 1 inch of cinnamon and 5 cloves. So these are our whole spices. I'm going to lightly roast them on in my pan just for about 1 minute till you get the lovely aroma of these lovely whole spices. Then I'm going to grind them in my mortar and pestle. You could also grind them in your mixer pot to a very fine powder. Once that is done, just set it aside. Now we're going to use 2 medium-sized onions chopped fine, 1 tomato and 1 uh, a- tablespoon of ginger garlic paste, and also 2 dried green chilies. I'm going to heat 1 tablespoon of oil in a pan, and I'm going to add the onions and fry them till they're nice and translucent. Once the onions are nice and fried, we're going to add our ginger garlic paste. So I've just taken about 1 inch of ginger and about 5 large cloves of garlic and ground them to a very fine paste. You can also use the ready-made ginger garlic paste. Next I'm going to add the light green chilies, which I've chopped fine. And then I'm going to add my 1 tomato, which I've chopped fine. So we're going to fry all of this really well. And now I'm going to cover this for about 1 minute and keep it on a low flame so that everything gets well incorporated. Now I'm going to be using 250 grams of mince as well as some salt to taste. So after about a minute, when everything is really nice and fried, we're going to add this finely ground powder that we prepared with the cinnamon, the cloves and the pepper. Mix it in well. And now we're going to add our mince. Now we're going to mix everything well with the mince, and we're going to fry the mince for at least 1 whole minute. Now you can add some salt to taste. Fry everything well. Now I've taken 1 large potato, washed it, peeled it and just diced it into large cubes. Now after we've fried our mince well, we're going to add this potato. We're going to mix everything well, and now I'm going to cover and cook this till the potato is well cooked. So this takes about 2 minutes, and then you can just check whether your potato should be nice and soft and done. So that means your mixture is now ready. You can turn off the heat and let the mixture cool completely. Now we're going to transfer this to a mixer pot or a blender, and we're going to grind this to a very fine paste. Now I'm also going to be using some lemon juice. So I've taken the juice of 1 lemon and mix everything well, and again grind it to a very fine paste. Now we're going to transfer this paste to a large bowl. I'm also going to be using 1 egg. So I'm going to beat this egg well, and I'm going to add that to my mince. Now mix the egg also well with the mince mixture. Once that is done, I have taken 1 pav, a very fresh and soft pav, and torn it up into small pieces. You can also use bread slices. Just add that to the mixture. This will give it a nice body, and you'll be able to form the croquets very easily. So the pav should be nice and soft and fresh, because then it just gets mashed down very easily. Alternatively, you can also add it to the mixture when you're grinding it in the mixer. Now I'm just going to add about 4 or 5 tablespoons of breadcrumbs. Basically, we want a nice firm mixture which we can form our croquets with. And now just form the croquets like this. Roll them and keep them aside. And then we're going to shape them so that they all look, even and well shaped. So first just roughly roll them in the breadcrumbs. And I learned this technique from my dad. But just take a nice long knife like this and just, shape them, like keep rolling them in this fashion and shape them very well. They should all look nice and even with no cracks and no, breaks in the croquets. You can make them small, you can make them long or big, the choice is yours. And then again, lightly roll them in the breadcrumbs and keep them aside. So in this way, you can make your croquets and you can even store them in an airtight container. They last for about a week in an airtight container, refrigerated. And whenever you feel like, you can just deep fry them. You can just deep fry them whenever you feel like. So now I'm just going to deep fry them till they're nice and golden brown in color. So you can alternatively, shallow fry them, but deep frying them, you get an even coat and everything gets evenly fried. If you shallow fry them, then you'll find that, the texture is different. You won't get that lovely crunch that these croquets are supposed to have. That is, they're supposed to be nice and crunchy on the outside and nice and soft on the inside. So when you shallow fry them, you get a very kind of a different type of a texture. You don't get that crunch. But you can shallow fry them if you don't want to deep fry them. So in this way you can fry your croquets as many as you like, and they're just very, very delicious. They go very well with some pulao and some salad and some chicken curry at the side. It's like an ideal meal. And I've just broken up one to show it to you all, and you can see how lovely and crunchy they are on the outside and nice and soft on the inside. So I hope you liked today's recipe and I hope you give it a try. You can leave your comments in the comment section below. I'd love to. Ingredients are, so here I have about 250 grams of 5 large tomatoes cut into small cubes. This is half a cup of ginger garlic paste. This is 2 tablespoons of udid dal, 4 tablespoons of Kashmiri red chili powder, 2 tablespoons of tamarind paste, quarter teaspoon of mustard seeds, quarter teaspoon of turmeric powder, quarter teaspoon of asafoetida or hing, 1 tablespoon of gur and some salt to taste. Now here I've heated about 4 to 5 tablespoons of oil. Once your oil is heated up, you're going to add your mustard seeds, your asafoetida as well as your haldi powder. Now once this is done, we're going to add the udid dal and we're going to add our ginger garlic paste. We have to fry this paste really well. So once you get the aroma of the ginger and the garlic, you know that it's fried very well. And now we're just going to add up our chopped up tomatoes. We don't want them very small, cubed very small, just medium sized cubes. We're going to give all of this a nice good mix. And then we're going to cover and cook this till it becomes nice and soft and the tomatoes are nice and soft and mushy. We have to keep stirring in between so that it doesn't get burnt at the bottom. So this should take you about 5 to 7 minutes for the tomatoes to actually get nicely cooked. Now once the tomatoes have completely cooked, we're just going to give it one more mix. And now we're going to add in our salt to taste. Give that a good mix once you've added the salt. Next, we're going to add the jaggery or the gur, and you can give it, add as per your taste. Next, we're going to add the Kashmiri red chili powder for the nice color. And again, we're going to cook it for just about a minute. Once that is done, we're going to turn off the heat and we're going to add the tamarind pulp or the tamarind juice. Now, all I've done is just taken about 1 tablespoon of tamarind and soaked it in some hot water for about half an hour. Now, once our pickle is completely cool, we're going to transfer it to a clean, dry glass jar and store it in a nice dark place. And this pickle can be had instantly. You don't have to wait for this pickle like other pickles. Now here I've taken 1 cup of peanuts. So I've just divided them into 3 halves so that I can cut them up well. And I'm going to chop them up to a very, very fine but coarse powder like this. You should have little bits of peanuts. That's why I don't grind it in a mixer, but you need to have this coarse kind of a peanut texture. And I'm just going to empty this into a large mixing bowl. So watch the video till the end for a few tips on this recipe too. And in this way, I've cut up the entire 1 cup of peanuts, a little at a time. So this is the second half. Now roast your peanuts, and if you have the peel on, then peel them, let them cool down and then chop them up. Or you can buy ready-made roasted peanuts too. So now that my whole 1 cup of peanuts is done, we're going to add some few ingredients. So I'm going to start by adding 1/4 cup of powdered sugar. Next goes in half a cup of peanut butter. You can use the smooth peanut butter or the crunchy. A pinch of salt. Now this is 2 teaspoons of honey, but you can also use maple syrup, pancake syrup, or even ready-made caramel Hershey syrup. Now I'm going to add half a teaspoon of vanilla essence and 2 tablespoons of melted butter. All we have to do is now mix this mixture really well. So we're going to call this our nougat mixture. So mix the ingredients thoroughly. Now here I've just lined my microwave dish with some baking paper or parchment paper, and I'm going to add this nougat mix to the dish, and I'm going to just smoothen it out and flatten it out completely. This is going to be the first layer. So flatten it out at the best that you can. And now we're just going to add half a cup of roasted peanuts. 1 cup of roasted peanuts on top. So I've just taken each peanut and divided it into 2, and then I'm adding it. I'm going to just press it down and now put it into the refrigerator. Now while that is chilling in the refrigerator, we're going to prepare our caramel sauce. So to a pan, I've added 1 cup of sugar. We're going to cook this on a low to medium heat, and when the sugar starts to melt, you're just going to mix it up with your spatula like this. We're going to stir this till all of the sugar melts completely. That's very important, that you get a very smooth kind of a consistency. And once you get this consistency, you're going to add 2 tablespoons of butter, which is at room temperature. And you're going to mix in the butter too very well. And now just one more ingredient to go, and that is 1/4 cup of fresh cream. And you're just going to mix all of this really well till you get a beautiful smooth kind of a texture with no lumps. And that's your caramel sauce all ready. So now you can take out the tray from the fridge and add this beautiful thick caramel sauce on top. And then you're just going to smoothen it out. And now we're going to refrigerate this for at least 15 to 20 minutes. Now after 15 to 20 minutes, it's completely set. So now it's time to demold and cut up our bars. So take off the parchment paper from the sides. And now you're just going to chop them up into small thin pieces like this, like a small Snicker bar would be. And then cut it in the center. So you get these beautiful bars already. Just smoothen out the edges to give it a little bit of a shape. And then you want to refrigerate this for about 15 to 20 minutes. So in the meantime, I'm just going to melt some milk chocolate compound. So here I've taken 400 grams of chocolate compound, cut it up into small cubes, and I put it on a double boiler, and I'm just going to melt this. And now our caramel, the peanut and caramel square Snickers are all ready. Now all we have to do is complete them by dipping them into this beautiful melted milk chocolate. Now generally it's in milk chocolate, but if you're a lover of dark chocolate, you can also use dark chocolate compound. But Snickers goes well with milk chocolate. It gives you the perfect Snicker bar taste. So now that my chocolate is completely melted, with the help of 2 forks, first I'm just going to take the bar and dip it into this beautiful rich sauce. And then with the help of 2 forks, I'm just going to coat it evenly on all sides. And I'm going to then lift it up and drain off all the excess chocolate. And then we're just going to place it back on the tray. And I'm going to do the same with all of this. And once that part is done, you're just going to refrigerate this for about 15 to 20 minutes or until the chocolate is nice and set. But I would recommend that you keep it for at least an hour. Then you get those lovely chilled Snicker bars, which I like. The preference is yours. So in this way, I dipped all of them into the chocolate. And at any point of time, if your melted chocolate starts to harden up, just put it back onto the double boiler till you get a lovely smooth flowing consistency. Don't add anything to the chocolate compound. And that's it. After setting it for about an hour, our lovely Snicker bars are all ready. And since they're too big to eat, so I just chop them up into smaller bits. That way you just get some bite-sized Snicker bar pieces. So you don't eat a whole lot of it. But you can cut it up into smaller pieces so you get more and you can have a little and enjoy.